get started. Oh, there's Tish. Hi, Tish.
Hi, Tish. Oh, there
Hey,
she is.
Tish.
She switched.
Tish and then video Tish. Nice. Okay, darlings. Well, Trey, I never knew Wednesdays were so far apart. Oh, that's cute.
That's hilarious.
Okay, everyone. So, welcome back again. Yeah, these weekday touchstone points here have become so sweet and such a nourishing, grounding, anchoring space for me. I don't have a really regular schedule. I know most of us maybe don't or kind of have to right now. Like we don't have schedules like going out, but mine currently has even dwindled. And I think Meg and I are saying the same thing too, even apart from having, just a daily schedule at home. And it's so nice to have kind of that mix between the, freedom and then also having some of the grounded, stable anchor points like this, which is so nice. So thanks for being here. We're going to continue down the road that we started last week. And I know a bunch of you were here last week. And if you weren't, it's totally cool. Where we kind of pitched off with touching into the experiences of loneliness and perhaps the sense of isolation or separation that we as a human family are experiencing during this time. But Meg really addressed also so eloquently how this longing for deeper, more meaningful connections has been plaguing us and has been an undercurrent for so much longer before our current situation hit and is taking place. And something we've always loved to bring to our trainings and to our retreats and just to our lives in general. Meg and I both find so much fulfillment in sharing tools, practical tools for meaningful connection. Hey, did any of you guys read the book, The Overstory yet? Anyone read The Overstory? Not yet. Oh, read it. It's out right now. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it's by this guy, Richard Powers, and it's so beautiful. It's about, it's about interconnection and that through the lens of old and trees and the language of trees and the language of the interconnection of our ancient old growth forest systems. And, it's the sad and kind of devastating way that we as humans have come in and just destroyed so much of that interconnection. And then also kind of the resilient, beautiful friendships and partnerships that arise when tuning into the natural world as an access point back to our connection with one another. It's beautiful. It's a novel, but it's also, mostly historical fiction. It's called The Overstory. So if you're interested in it, it's such deep, rich connection. And, one of the touch points he gets to in there is that, as human beings, we have been granted the gift of knowing, the gift of consciousness and knowing that we are conscious, and the capacity to actually know that we are conscious is also our inherent capacity to actually know and understand on a cognitive and a visceral level interconnection. And, I was just writing about this a little bit about like, wow, it's like, I feel like we have just dulled this sense, like the sense to know. And when I think of what knowing means, it's, the attuning to what is when we get really, really quiet and listen. And when we learn to get beneath the fluctuations of the thoughts, when we learn to kind of see, not disregard, but see through and underneath and behind and all around the feelings and the emotions and the triggers and things, and to instead really, really, really listen. And beyond listening, I was writing about how, like, I think we're actually relearning how to hear, because we can listen and we're getting so much information. We can be there and like listening and have our eyes open and reading the news and taking in all this information, even have someone in front of us and be like listening. But really hearing is far beyond just the sense organ of the ears. Hearing is something that takes our entire being, our entire capacity. To it's telling me my internet's unstable. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you just froze for a sec, but now you're better.
Okay. And so we'll do a practice together of deep listening. And from there, we are going to break you guys into groups or partners, and we're going to do a co-listening practice, something that we do in a lot of our trainings and our events. I mean, love doing it. It's a beautiful tool to use with people you love, with one another. So we'll share that. So let's begin getting quiet together. So wherever you are, take a comfortable seat. And with no agenda, just allow yourself to settle in. To settle into the physical experience of this posture. Feel your hips, and then feel them get heavy into the cushion beneath you. Your legs, the bones of your legs heavy. Feel your spine lifting up out of the base and rising all the way up through the crown of your head and towards the sky. And then feel your skin soften over the bones. Skin soften the muscle over the bone. And even the bones settling ever more. Keep opening your awareness to experience the body, the sensations of the body. If you have any pain or any discomfort, even without trying to change it, just notice those sensations. A story probably arises in the mind around why that pain is, what you could do. Just notice that conversation and let it go. Feel the sensation of your clothes on your skin. And tune into the sense of the air in the room meeting your skin. And then bring your awareness to what it feels like to breathe. The sensation of breath coming in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. A little cooler as the air comes in, warmer as the air moves out. And just enjoy the simple sensation of air in and out of the nose. Follow the breath a little more. So as the breath comes in through the nose, feel it brush down the back of the throat, fill the lungs and expand into the belly. The belly rises on the inhale. And as you exhale, the breath pushes out of the belly, brushes up through the back of the throat, and out through the nose. Just let all of your awareness go into the sensation of breathing. Imagine or even visualize the breath coming in and caressing and massaging every cell, revitalizing every cell, oxygenating every part of your being. Listening for exactly how life force is longing to create, to move through you in this moment in the form of breath. And part of the deep cultivation of deep listening is curiosity. To ask ourselves, just to inquire, like, where does the breath want to go now? Where am I being asked to listen a little bit more completely? Perceive a little more fully. Let the organs of your ears open, soften, and widen. You can even bring your awareness to the outer ear, earlobes. Opening your awareness to the wide array of sounds around you. Awareness moves to your inner ear. Have the sense that your inner ear cavity is softening and widening. Until you feel the space inside of the head wide and open. Maybe even the throat, midbrain feels open and wide. Allow your awareness to be open to sound. Yes, the sounds outside of you, and no need to push any away, but also listening to the sounds more deeply inward. The sound of breath, oxygenating the cells, the sound of the lungs pumping. And deeper inward still, with no grasping or reaching outward. Bring the deepest sound within. The sound of your essence. Your capacity to know, your deepest knowing. Perhaps you can feel you can touch that space, a deep sense of knowing. The knowing that everything is connected, everything will be okay. The knowing that you are whole. Let yourself rest for just a few more moments. Not trying to push any thoughts or sounds or sensations away, but rather even using them and your awareness of them to point you back to this still, quiet knowing, ever present amidst all of it. Listen. Staying touching that stillness within. Begin to allow your breath to deepen. Still staying inward and attuned to this knowing. The movement of the world outside of you. And all the while, listening, touching that place within with your presence. And still staying deeply present within, allow your eyes to slowly open. And see if you can stay super receptive. So as your eyes open, instead of looking outward with a piercing gaze, see if you can sense more of a soft dough-like quality to the eyes. Let the eyes be receptive. The light of the outer world seep in, like the sun coming through the curtains. And let that light from the outside also pierce and touch all the way into that center of knowing within. And so just staying attuned and anchored in space, ears open, heart open. We'll use this as our foundation for moving forward into our practice of listening, co-listening with one another. Meg, I'll pass it over to you. I know you'll set us up for where we're going with the listening exercise.
Thank you for that meditation, Ashleigh. I feel like I could just do a whole day of silence. I feel like what's coming up for me right now is the necessity to spend time in silence so that we can listen better and really hear one another without an agenda. I keep wondering, as I continue to spend more and more time in silence in the mornings in my own meditation practice, what would it be like to show up for everybody that I meet in a day, which right now is not that many people, but without having to be anything to anybody, to just be able to receive whoever is in front of me. And I don't have to put on the teacher hat or the mom hat or all of the hats that we put on, and how that helps me to really be a better listener, a better receiver, And so when we're gonna pair up here in a moment, and I really invite you guys to try that on. Like when we do this exercise, you don't have to be anything to anyone, just present. That's all. When we go through this exercise, you're not trying to be the smart one or the wise one or having to solve anyone's problems or say, yeah, me too. I just want to see what it's like for all of us to just be with one another and let something be said and heard and held, and that's it. Last week we talked about how we're all really, really, really longing for deep, meaningful connection, and listening in this way is one of the most simple, but yet one of the most profound tools that we can use to establish those meaningful connections. So often we're listening to hear something specific or to respond, or we're listening with all of these veils in front of our presence. And if you could just be present with somebody, the only thing that you have to be to somebody is open. You don't have to be a specific something. How could you hear and meet and receive someone? And so that's the sort of bhav, which just simply means the atmosphere or attitude that will have you approach this exercise with. It's just, how can you really be receptive to whatever it is that you're hearing? So here in a minute, we'll break you guys up into partners, and you guys will decide amongst yourself who gets to go first. And we'll just have you guys in like little breakout rooms. And the person who's going to go first will have about 5 minutes to speak, just simply speak to what's really inspiring them right now, or encouraging them right now, or hopeful to them right now. 5 minutes to just speak that out. And when you're speaking, know that it's okay to be silent too. You don't have to fill up the whole thing. I mean, this is the other thing on communication, is Sometimes we're uncomfortable with silences and pauses. Sometimes we're uncomfortable if we're the one that's speaking to like take a pause and go back to that place that Ashleigh just took us. But I really want to encourage you to do that as a speaker, and knowing that the listener is just listening. It really gives us a space as a speaker to like have that time to really drop in, knowing that we're not going to be interrupted or derailed, you know? So as the listener, just be receptive to just hear for 5 minutes, really listen for 5 minutes and hear what is hopeful to this being right now. And then after that 5 minutes is up, I'll put you guys in like little breakout rooms, and you'll see like on your little chat box that it's time for the second person to go. And then, so for the person who is speaking the second time around, now the listener, you'll just give them the same courtesy that they gave you. You're not responding. It's not your job to respond. Just let this person continue to speak or be silent with each other for the full 5 minutes. And then after that, we're gonna shift the conversation back to the first person to speak for 5 minutes on what's really challenging them at this time. And just a full 5 minutes. And again, it doesn't have to, the listener does not have to solve anything, neither does the speaker. To just be able to say what it is that's on your heart. This is all that we're doing right now, is emptying our hearts. And to be emptying our hearts of what's challenging and hard on our hearts right now. And that's all. It just needs this receptive vessel to land in. So that's what we'll be up to. I'll let you guys know when we start. We'll be timing this, and then I'll keep you guys posted in your breakout rooms. You'll get a little message when to start, when the first person's to finish, and then the second person's to go, because it'll take us a moment to arrange the breakout rooms, because for some reason it always tries to throw Ashleigh in a breakout room, and I'll go through the breakout rooms and make sure that we just have 2 people in a breakout room and not 3. And so so I'll let you guys know via a little message when to start the first person. So when you guys get into your breakout rooms, maybe just spend the first moment while we're getting things organized, introducing yourselves to each other and deciding who's going to be the first speaker. Does anybody have any questions about this before we begin? Yeah, Phil. Hold on, let's unmute you. Whoops.
The 2 topics again, the first round and the second round?
Yeah, first round is going to just be what is hopeful or inspiring or encouraging to you right now. First person will do that, second person will just listen, and then the second person will go. And then the second question is just speaking to what's really challenging you right now. Oh, okay, any other questions? No. Okay, so let's just give me a moment to get these breakout rooms handled, set up. Okay, so I'm going to create your rooms. I'll let you guys know when to begin. We'll set a timer, but I'm just going to go through the rooms. There might be a little bit of shuffling here at the beginning while I try to make sure that there's 2 people in each room and that Ashleigh's not in a room. Okay, so on your marks, get set. You'll just get a little thing that'll say join this breakout room, and then you click the join the breakout room. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move. Okay. Sandy, did you not get to it? Oh, there we go. Okay, I think we've got everybody back. All right, well, that took us all the way up till the very end of our time together, but hopefully it was good to just be able to really connect and, you know, speak and be heard. And what we'd like for you guys to do between this week and next week is just, like all of us, let's practice cultivating our capacity to listen even better. To notice when we're listening to, you know, to respond, or, you know, we're interrupting, or we're not really even hearing the, you know, the root of things. There's a lot of times, you know, when my daughter's freaking out right now, so there's a lot of angst going on with her, and so, you know, I'm her safe place to take that out on, and so she might be freaking out, and if I'm not really listening and I can't hear the underlying angst beneath that, then we all start freaking out, you know. So throughout the course of the week, let's just really hone in our capacity to speak our truth well, but also to really listen well. And then next week we'll continue with listening, and we'll maybe start with some sharing about, you know, how it's going for you with the listening and how this co-listening was for you. And we'll take it from there. But let's just take one tiny little moment. Just interlace your hands, lay your palms flat on your chest. Allow your eyes to close. And just feel the presence. Of your breath. And of everyone here that's on this call. And please remember and trust how you are not alone. And know how much you are loved. From a receptive place, allow your eyes to open. I hope you all have such a beautiful day and a beautiful week, and can't wait to see you guys next week. All right. Love you all.
Thank you. Yay.